The Indian head coach selection process was nothing short of series of speculation and controversies. From conflicting reports for the top two position of coach, to accusations on the federation by agents, to claims that AIFF cheaped out. Here's an overview of the selection process. Number 1, Lee Min-sung. Now, Lee Min-sung was a manager who came in with tons of experience from all around China, being assistant manager to the likes of Marcelo Lippi and Jiansu Li at Jiangsu Evergrande, averaging 2.16 points under each manager. We were working as assistant manager for the South Korean under 23 and the CC Yatai FC from China. He managed a lot of speculations. He managed to be garnered in with not a lot of popularity or backing by his side, and it kind of reflected in how he was placed in the top four. Well, on the bottom. His requirements included a backroom staff to be brought in by of his choice, but that wasn't mostly underplaying the backroom staff that already exists, but was more of a translational barrier to be connect between the pre-existing backroom staff and the current backroom staff. His wages were the same as most of the other managers on the list, £250,000 for the year, which is what the FIFA allocates to the AIFF. His style of football was similar to everyone on the list except one, and I think it's not the toughest of guesses to make. He wanted defensive football. He wanted solidity in his defense, playing from the back, possession style of play, having defensive solidity, and then building on forward. The reason he wasn't selected was pretty simple. A, the fact that his fee was higher than the one who did get selected, and B, the AIFF in fact thought that his lack of proper language to connect or communicate with the players or the backroom staff might be an issue, and well, he didn't get selected.
Well, moving on, we have a big name here, that is Albert Roca. Most Indian football fans would be knowing him as he had managed Bengaluru FC. He had also managed El Salvador, and he was an assistant manager at FC Barcelona and Galatasaray, which are indeed big clubs. He managed an average of 2.05 points per game in 56 games with Bangalore. He also won the Federation Cup with them and led them to the finals of the AFC Champions League. This is indeed a huge achievement, and the fact that he was involved in Indian football before made him a favorite for the spot. However, his demands were a huge overhaul of backroom staff and a wage requirement of £250,000 per year. In fact, he also wanted to residence in Mumbai or Goa, which the federation wasn't too keen on giving. His style of football, as we all know, is attacking football with high intensity. Now, given the Indian national team, would this be favorable? Highly unlikely, which is also a part of the reason why he wasn't selected. Another reason is, in his interview process, he was seen as trying to seem condescending, where he said, I will change the thing, I will change the system, and I don't think the directors liked that too much. They felt that they wanted a more of a team player or someone who can connect more, and which is why he was lower down on the list.
Absolutely. Third on the list is Håkan Ericson. Now, the reason we speak about Albert Roca and Ericson one after the other is it's a pretty conflicting report, and we'll get to that later. But Håkan Ericson, a little overview about him. He managed the under 21 side for Sweden for 6 years between 2011 to 2017, where he played 56 games, averaging points of 1.89 per game, and he won the under 21 Euros with them, which is a massive feat. He also managed the Sweden men's national side, the senior side, for 3 games, but he only came across for just those 3 games and won only one of those 3. Why he comes as a big name is because apparently he was in the top 2 list for the manager selection. Now, there were reports from everywhere saying it was Roca and C-Match, and then the other side of the media that said Ericson and C-Match were the top 2 names, and that created a lot of controversy, which actually even beckoned the Albert Roca's agent, if I'm not wrong, to call out the AIFF, saying that he wasn't given proper selection time. He wasn't given proper time to express himself as a manager, and he wasn't given proper time to come give his thoughts across the room, which made it unfair for him to be selected wherever he was selected and not be the manager of India at that time.
So now moving on to the final candidate that we have is Igor Stimac, and the man who got selected, obviously. Just to give an overview of what he did, and we had discussed this in depth in the last video. Well, he managed the Croatian national team, Hajduk Split and FC Sepahan in Iran. However, he only managed 1.73 points per match with the Croatian national team, which isn't that great of a record. Well, his demands as compared to the others were less. He wanted only £150,000 per year, and he didn't request any backroom staff changes either. So in that sense, it could be an advantage as to why he was chosen. His style of football, like most other managers, is defensive, solidity at the back, and a quick counter-attacking system. As we can see in the current matches, he's also increased the amount of possession the Indian national team keeps as opposed to the former manager, Stephen Constantine. But although the results haven't been flowing our way, the style of football has been a bit more appealing to the eye. Now, the reason why AIFF chose him is, one, because of the low wages that he was demanding. Two, because they wouldn't have to pay compensation for backroom staff changes. And three, he actually came all the way to Delhi for a personal interview. Now, is this desperation for being employed somewhere? Or is this actual passion for the job, which again seems a bit unlikely, but we do not know.
The only thing that we can say here for sure is the fact that there were a lot of controversies surrounding Stimac's appointment. The moment the news did break through, there was a lot of controversy back in Croatia, there was a lot of controversial topics here in India, and there wasn't a lot of backing for the manager. In fact, when he was selected, there were a lot of criticism made by the Indian players, the Indian supporters, and Stimac, well, he just didn't come across as the guy, especially when you had Albert Roca, who was the favorite to be selected. I think that's it for this video. In the third video, the next one, I think it's going to be the last one, we're going to be given a proper analysis of everything we have talked about so far, and why we think Igor might be a lot more, might be a lot more to Igor than what comes across, and not for the better. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like, subscribe and comment. Tell us what you think about Igor. Tell us what you think about the interview process, and we'll see you soon.
Cool.